Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We have already completed a sound check, so a big thanks to everyone who helped out with that. First of all, I want to introduce ourselves. My name is Holly McHugh, and I'm a marketing executive here at BrightPay. I'm also joined by Anya, who is a digital marketing executive here at BrightPay. First, I want to look at the agenda for today's webinar, and we've divided today's webinar into 3 different parts. In the first part of today's webinar, we are going to look at 5 ways cloud technology can boost your payroll process. In the second part of today's webinar, we will look at how BrightPay Connect can help and the ins and outs of how the software works. Finally, at the end of the webinar, we will have a questions and answers section where we will answer any questions that you may have. If you do have any questions, you can type them into the questions box on your control panel at the side of the screen, and we will try to get through as many questions as possible. This webinar is being recorded, and all attendees will receive an email later today with a link to the recording, so it's no problem if you do need to leave at any stage. Also, in the email later today, there will be a copy of the presentation slides that we are using today, or you can also download the slides right now if you wish on the Handouts tab on your control panel. We will also include some useful documents and additional resources that you may find helpful in the email later today. Now that all of the housekeeping is out of the way, I'm going to pass you over to Anya to get started with today's webinar.
Thanks, Ollie. So now, some of you may say that you dread processing payroll every pay period, as it can be a time-consuming and tedious process. And before cloud technology, this has been somewhat true. From distributing payslips to managing annual leave, there is a lot of manual work involved. Payroll software can take you far when it comes to finalizing the payroll and issuing payslips. But what about those other payroll-related tasks? Simple questions such as how much annual leave have I left, or can you resend my last 3 payslips, can become a daily and time-consuming burden, as it's a lot of administrative work. The power of cloud technology allows employers to spend less time on payroll admin and more time on more important aspects of the business, whilst also keeping employees happy. Processing payroll with added cloud features makes the payroll much easier. BrightPay Connect frees up time by increasing productivity to allow employers to get more work done. Here on the screen, you can see 5 ways cloud technology can boost your payroll process. Automatically back up your payroll data to the cloud from anywhere. Manage annual leave from an online portal. Quick and easy communication with employees. Give employees access to their own self-service app, and extra support for remote working. I'll go through each one of these in more detail now. First up is an automatic cloud backup. Data security is becoming more and more important in today's world, especially when we store, process, and send confidential information, such as payslips, employee hours, and payroll reports to accountants. Did you know that if you only keep the payroll data on your desktop, you are at risk of losing the information? It's important to ask yourself, how prepared am I for a disaster recovery situation? Have you thought about what would happen if your computer crashed or was hacked, or if there was a fire or a flood, for example, and the hardware itself got destroyed? How would you get your payroll data back quickly? And most importantly, would employees still get paid if the information was lost? As an employer, you not only want, but need your payroll data to be stored in a secure place, especially in today's world where hybrid working is becoming a growing permanent trend post-pandemic. You need to ensure that the method of backing up your payroll data is consistent without any security concerns. Your payroll software provider should offer cloud integration, enabling you to automatically and securely back up the payroll data online, which offers an additional layer of data protection. Backing up and storing payroll data in the cloud offers the perfect solution to protect your payroll data, as well as improving the security of your business. BrightPay Connect is powered using the latest web technologies and hosted on Microsoft Azure for ultimate performance, reliability, and scalability. Another great benefit of having an automatic cloud backup is no more expensive servers. In-house servers take up physical space in your office and are more susceptible to data loss during disaster situations due to its in-house location. Whereas cloud backups can be restored from anywhere if the data is lost. No effort is required to back up your data with BrightPay Connect, as it's done automatically for you every 15 minutes. I'll now pass you back over to Holly.
Thanks, Anya. I'll run through annual leave management next. A part of the payroll process that many employers dread is managing annual leave. This can be a very much manual spreadsheet or even paper-based task, which takes up a large amount of time. You'll be happy to hear that BrightPay Connect includes an employee calendar, which can keep record of all employees' past and scheduled leave, including annual leave, unpaid leave, absence, sick leave, and parenting leave. This is an employer-wide calendar that works in real time across both the online portal and desktop application of BrightPay. Employees can request annual leave through their self-service portal, which I'll go into more depth about later. They can also view their own personal annual leave calendar and their leave balance taken and remaining. The next way that cloud technology can boost your payroll process is employee communications. So whether you have 5 employees or 500 employees, it is best practice to ensure you have an open and clear communication channel. Good employee communication enables employees to stay connected to their workplace, which in turn promotes better performance, employee retention, and well-being. There are many ways to communicate policies and procedures to employees, but sometimes it can be hard to manage, resulting in employees asking for documents to be resent as they could be lost in the large volume of emails. Using BrightPay Connect, employers can upload any kind of document to distribute to employees through a secure online portal. These documents can include anything from company policies, handbooks, and news items to more sensitive information such as employee files. This gives employees access to documents all from the one place, nice and organised, so no more searching and scrolling through emails trying to find important documents. Did you know the click rate of a push notification is 7 times higher than that of email? And so BrightPay Connect is a great way of communicating with employees when it comes to important updates. The document upload feature also helps with employees working remotely, as some businesses are introducing more permanent hybrid working policies for their employees, meaning that they work some days in the office and some days at home. BrightPay Connect allows remotely based employees to keep in touch with everything that is happening in the workplace. Employers can even see who has opened and viewed the documents they've uploaded to keep track if needed. And I'll pass you back now to Anya.
Thanks, Holly. So the next way that cloud technology can boost your payroll process is by offering employees a self-service portal. The ability for employees to view and edit their own data is one of the most important advancements of HR in recent years, as it really saves time for employers. Once signed up to BrightPay Connect, you can invite your employees to their own self-service portal where they then set up their own password. Employees can download the app for free on their smartphone or tablet device, or access the self-service portal online via a web browser that they can bookmark for handiness. The app is the most popular option. It is available on both Android and iOS devices. An online employee portal can also help you with GDPR compliance. The GDPR legislation includes a best practice recommendation, whereby organizations should provide individuals with remote access to a secure system, which would give them direct access to their personal information. With the self-service portal, employees have access to a library of historical payslips 24/7. This is extremely useful in cases where employees need historical payslips to apply for a mortgage or a loan, and it eliminates unnecessary communication between the employee and the employer. Current payslips are automatically available to employees through the self-service portal. They can be made available either on, before, or after the payday, as selected by the employer. And as previously mentioned, with an employee self-service portal, the employee also has access to HR documents that have been uploaded by their employer or manager. And it's not just a company handbook and contract of employment. You can also use this to distribute monthly newsletters, company news, or weekly rosters. Additionally, with a few clicks, employees can request holiday leave on the go with instant access to leave taken and leave remaining. Once the employer accepts or rejects the leave, it flows back into Connect, where the employee can view the updated leave on the app's calendar. They'll also receive a push notification to alert them to this. The employee calendar is a very popular feature, especially with some employees still working from home or hybrid working. It means that they can request leave at home and go through the same process as someone who's working in the office. The final feature of employee self-service I'll look at today is the ability to edit employee details on the app. With this feature, HR personnel no longer need to collect or change employee details. Instead, the responsibility is fully with the employee to ensure that their personal details are updated and correct at all times, which they can edit via the app under contact details. Next, we'll look at support for remote workers. BrightPay Connect has been updated to include improved remote working functionality. This includes a version checking feature when opening the employer file and another user's check to prevent the risk of conflicting copies. This applies to businesses where there are two or more processors, or it could also apply if you are the sole payroll processor but processing payroll from multiple PCs. Here's how it works. When you open the employer file, BrightPay Connect will check to see if there's a more up-to-date version of this file. For example, if someone else in your organization worked on the file recently, or you from a different computer had previously worked on this employer's file. If a more up-to-date version is detected, you will be given some options. You will have the option to download and use the most recent version, or you can continue to use the version you're trying to open. It will also check to see if someone else is still working on the payroll file, and again, you will be presented with some options. You can be notified when the other user has finished, and it will also notify that other user that you are waiting to access the payroll, or you can choose to continue anyway, and from that point on, the other user will not be able to make any further changes to the payroll. This new working from home integration gives you all the benefits of the cloud, while utilizing the power and responsiveness of your local device. Now I'm going to pass you back over to Holly.
Thanks, Anya. So I'm going to jump into BrightPay Connect's online portal now to show you some of the different features that we've been talking about today. So here we are in Alan's Auto Repair's online employer dashboard with BrightPay Connect. And the first thing we come to here is notifications. And as you can see, I have an annual leave request from an employee. Employees can request leave anytime, anywhere, directly from their employee app. With BrightPay Connect, you can set up an unlimited number of users. So as well as the payroll processor being able to access the payroll information, you can also add HR managers, department managers, or even line managers. And you can set it up so that they can approve annual leave requests without having any access to the payroll information. Once a leave request has been approved, it will automatically synchronize to the payroll software, making it easier for the payroll processor. You'll see these tabs across the screen, and I'm going to have a quick look into each tab. So the first tab is the Employees tab. Here you can click into each employee's profile to access payslips and personal details. And with BrightPay Connect, there is no need to print or email payslips. BrightPay Connect distributes the payslips to employees automatically for you. This is also where you can invite your employees to connect. So by clicking on the green button here, it will send notification emails to selected employees with an overview of the portal and instructions on how to log in. Next is subcontractors, and here you can view subcontractor details and P&D statements. This tab will only be available if you have subcontractors set up on the payroll software. The next tab is the Reports tab, and any report that is set up and saved on the payroll software will be available for you to run payroll reports on your online employer dashboard anytime, anywhere. And here you can see the long list of reports that I can run, and I can even sort my view to most recent to make things even easier. So the next tab is the Calendar tab, and BrightPay Connect also has a company-wide employee calendar to simplify annual leave management. Here you can view all past and scheduled leave and view who is on leave and when. So for example, just clicking into the 9th of July, you can see here that there were 4 employees on leave on this particular day. Next is the HMRC Payments tab. The HMRC payments also flow through to BrightPay Connect, and all the amounts that are due to HMRC will appear here, and you can click into each month to view the full breakdown of the P30. The next tab is the Documents tab, and here you can upload any type of document that you want to distribute to your employees, as we mentioned earlier. You can see the documents that I've uploaded here are even split into folders to keep organized. And if I click into this document here, you can see I can add the messaging that I want to include alongside the document, and I can also send notifications to employees, and I can view a time-stamped log of which employees have accessed the document. The final tab on the employer dashboard is the Settings tab. And this is where you can change employee notification preferences and enable and disable features for employees. This includes turning on and off the calendar feature. You can even upload payroll data from a previous tax year to BrightPay Connect. Just to note, this is only available if you are using BrightPay in that tax year, but you don't need to have used BrightPay Connect. By uploading historic data, employees will have access to historic records from the get-go. Another option here is to enable notifications. So if I just click in here, you can turn on reminder emails to yourself that will automatically alert you when HMRC payments are due. And lastly, by clicking the icon at the end of those tabs, you can edit your name and change your login password if needed. And it's also where you can log out securely. Next, I'm going to jump into the online portal for employees and show you what they will be able to see. So I'm just going to pop in login details. So as you can see, it's quite similar to the employer dashboard, but they have different tabs across the top. So I'm logged in as Carla Byrne. And on her dashboard, they can view notifications such as their payslip for this month is now available and their annual leave request has been completed. Also on the dashboard, they can see their details and an overview of their calendar for this month. So I'll just go across the tabs, and the next tab is the Documents tab. And as you can see, it's categorized into payroll documents and HR documents and resources. This is to separate their payslip library and their HR documents for easy access. They can click in to view each payslip in full, so I'll just click into the latest one here. And this is where they will have the option to download the payslip if needed. So just going back now to the Documents tab, and I'll just click into the HR documents and resources to show you where all other documents will be saved. And there is even a search tab for quick access. Next is the Calendar tab, and this is where the employee can view all their past and scheduled leave. Employees can request and cancel annual leave, and they can view their leave taken and leave remaining balance. In the next tab, employees can edit their personal details. For example, if they moved home address, they can easily update it themselves instead of contacting HR. So it's a great way to ensure that you're GDPR compliant. And that's it. I'll jump back to my slides now and show you what the smartphone app looks like. The employee will automatically get notifications directly to their phone when a new payslip is available, when a HR document has been shared with them, or when an annual leave request has been approved. And here in the app, you can see it's very similar to the portal, where they have a dashboard on the home screen, documents, calendar, and personal details. So as you can see, both the employer online portal and employee app are very user-friendly. And that brings us to the end of the presentation today. We covered a lot on today's webinar, but we will send everyone an email later today, and this will include a copy of the slides and a link to the recording of today's webinar. But it's now time for the questions and answers. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the questions box at the side of your screen, and we will try to get through as many questions as possible. I know Anya has flagged a couple of questions that came in throughout the webinar, so I'll take the first one and we can take turns then going through them. So the first question I have here is, how many users can I have on Connect? So you can add as many users as you want on BrightPay Connect. It's only the BrightPay payroll software itself that is limited to the 10 installations.
Okay, thanks, Holly. The next question here flagged is, how will I know if my employees are using the app? Well, within the Employees tab on your employer portal, you will be able to see the status of when each employee was last active on the app.
Great. The next question I have here is, I always back up my payroll data twice. just in fear of losing it, will Connect be sufficient? So yes, BrightPay Connect will be enough, and you won't need to back up your data anywhere else once using Connect, as it's been backed up to the cloud, as opposed to, say, a hard drive such as a USB key. So you're good to go.
Okay, and the next question is, can payslips still be printed for those employees that don't want to use the app? I have a few employees that don't own a smartphone or a tablet. So yeah, of course, you can still print employees' payslips as normal from the payroll tab on BrightPay. There's also the option to email payslips, or if they don't own they don't have a smartphone, the employees can always log in using their internet browser.
Great. The next question I have here is, how does the pricing work for Connect? Do I buy it when I'm renewing BrightPay at tax year? So no, you don't purchase it alongside the BrightPay payroll software at the start of the tax year. You can create a BrightPay Connect account at any time, and users are billed then on a monthly subscription, and that's based just on the number of users of active employees in the billing month. So it's the active employees in the billing month.
Okay. Do I need to train employees on Connect before they're set up? So the short answer is no. Once you send employees the invitation email via Connect, it includes instructions for what the employee must do. Otherwise, the portal is very easy to navigate around, so no training is needed. We do have an employer starter pack with a few videos and step-by-step instructions if this is really needed. I can include this link, the link to this, in an email later on today.
Yeah, we can add that in. And the next question I have here is, can employees cancel leave that they don't want to take anymore? So yes, as I showed previously on the calendar tab within the employee portal, employees have the option to cancel leave from the drop-down. So the drop-down has annual leave, and you can cancel leave from there as well.
Okay. I have a question here about pricing. How much is Connect for my 10 employees? I'll flick through to our pricing slide here so you can see. You will be billed $3.90 per month if you have 10 active employees on the payroll. And if the number of employees increased or decreased the following month, the price would be adjusted accordingly. If you like, you can use our BrightPay Connect calculator to estimate how much your bill would be. I'll also add this to the follow-up email later today.
Great. Thanks, Anya. Just flicking through here. I have another question. Do I have to upload the same company handbook individually to each employee's portal? So no, an employer can upload one document to appear in all employees' portals at the same time. You can do this by selecting all employees when uploading the document, or you can also distribute a document or resource to employees within a particular department. So it's very easy to do.
Okay, I have a question here about the password. So what happens if employees forget their password? If an employee forgets their password and can't log in, they simply click Forgot Password on the sign-in page. They'll be redirected to enter their email address to receive a reset message via their email. So they don't need to contact HR or the employer to do this. So it's a handy feature.
Great. I have another question here. I already have an annual leave system that I'm happy with. Can I turn off the calendar and employees being able to request leave? So yes, as I mentioned previously in the employer online portal in the settings tab, they can turn on and off access to the employee calendar. So by turning it off, the employees won't have that tab appear on their smartphone app, so they won't even know that it's missing. I just have one last question that I'm going to take here is, can you split the employees who want a payslip emailing to those who use the app? So yes, obviously not every single employee might want to use the app or be able to use the app. So you can still email the payslips from within BrightPay and then just give access to the portal to those employees that want it. So that's another option. But I'm going to wrap it up there. I think that's all we have time for today, and most of the questions have been answered. A lot were repetitive, but if you do have any other questions, please feel free to send us an email and we will be glad to help. And we will send out a follow-up email later on today, and this will include a link to the recording of the webinar and a copy of the slides that we're using today. I'll also include a link to book a more in-depth BrightPay Connect demo as well. So when the webinar ends, a quick survey will appear on your screen. If you'd like to fill it out to give us some feedback, that would be great. And lastly, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for today's webinar, and we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.